Here we go. Welcome to the show. Damn, welcome, guys. Terrence, it's been a while.
Man.
It's only you this time. It's not everybody else, and so welcome. And you want to introduce your friend over here who came? How come it sounds all weird right now? So
I think I'm all right.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is Jeniece Hernandez, aka Santa Mamis.
Is that a name that you chose for yourself? No, you're good. You can talk right into the front of it. Just pull it to you. Yeah, you want to talk into the front of it too, Terrence. Not on the top.
Okay.
The way it was facing to you.
Shoot.
No. Bend it up this way.
Oh,
There you go. There you go.
cool.
Better. There it is.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So, yeah. Is that a name that you chose for yourself, or is that something that was given to you? How does it work when you get to choose your own Chamorro name?
Honestly, my first, if I remember.
Oh, you want to
correctly-
just turn the.
Finish?
Yeah, you got to talk into the side of it, cause.
To the side. Oh,
Yeah. There you go.
There?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, when I first started Hurao, you kind of just chose a name. I mean, there was really just any word that kind of fits you,
Yeah.
and that's the name that sticks with you. But my name at first was Isa. But I think after a while, one of the other girls changed her name, and I was like, you know what? I think I want Mamis. But it's actually Mamis Corazon, which means sweetheart.
So it's
But
almost like
Mamis
a confirmation name, huh?
Yeah,
Except your
pretty
confirmation
much.
name,
Yeah.
you can't change it, right?
Yeah, and I love, so when you get there, you know, you're kind of feeling it out. I think one of the reasons for the name, so they tell you, okay, so pick your own name, you know, anything that describes
Just
you.
pull the mic down a little bit so they're not blocking your pretty face from the camera. There.
No, pretty face now. And I cheated for my name. So you get there, you know, you either take a class or, you know, and you come up with your own name. Either you could pick it yourself.
Pull this mic towards. Go ahead, keep talking. He'll adjust your mic.
You either pick your own name, or if you wait long enough, you know, Santa will give you a name.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that.
You don't want to do that?
Yeah. So I cheated. I was already a week into class and I still haven't picked a name, so I was getting worried. So I cheated and I asked my grandma, you know, if you had to give me like a name in Chamorro, you know, not like a regular birth certificate name, you know, if you had to give me a name. And even her, she was stumped. She just sat there and she was like, Fanan Tina Oskun? And I was like, what does that mean? What is Osgun? And she's telling me, okay, it means obedient or obedient one. And so I told my dad that, and he started laughing super hard. She's like, why would she call you that? So I came back.
I've been seeing in your stories that you've been really trying to show your communication with your grandmother which I think is really cool, right?
Man, that's so when you get there, you know, you kind of have to go, you know, they interview you.
Yeah.
And you kind of have like, hopefully you go there with a conviction as to why you want to, you know, learn how to speak. And my grandparents was my reason. You know, I have 3 of 4 still alive. You know, I'm almost 30 years old, and that's not something that's kind of rare, actually.
Right. I've all my grandparents have passed away. So.
And then, you know, we're practically the same age, 2 years apart. You know.
Right.
So if anything, Gav's 3 grandparents out of 4 still alive. So I shared that with Sina Gunifi, and man, it's just been incredibly rewarding with all three of them. Like, I feel like I'm turning back turning back time with all 3 of them.
For sure.
I can't even. Oh, where do I start with those guys? You know, and everyone's thinking like, oh yeah, he gets to talk to his grandparents tomorrow. Man, it's gotten crazy. Like, the fact that we can communicate. I started. So funny story. So I've been helping out my grandma around the house with, you know, some stuff, and you might think like, oh, carrying the groceries, you know, things like that. No, man, I've been helping her with like crazy, weird stuff. Like, she wouldn't be able to communicate with me in English, or she wouldn't prefer
Fixing
to.
the French drain.
No. I want to share, but so she has, she asked me to help her cut her nails and and yeah, I'm down to do that. We're the reason I was like, oh yeah, should cut your nails. That's not totally weird.
Yeah. But it was
And
the
then-
toenails.
It was her thumb toenail that. So when I got to it, and mind you, this whole thing's in Chamorro, so I'm like having a massive, so what happened was her toenail kind of has like a weird, it's like a,
It's an old person toenail.
yeah,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
and I'm
I'm
having
familiar.
have the standard nail cutter,
Oh, yeah.
so I'm having to explain to her that the nail cutter doesn't fit, the omelette, and she's just yelling at me.
So what was the hard part to communicate?
So eventually I had to get a scissors and I cut her nail. She started bleeding.
Oh no.
And so I'm like, oh my God, I'm about to lose my mind right now in Chamorro. And so she started bleeding and I was like, girl, Kumalika, are you okay? And she ended up yelling at me like, I'm fine. I don't feel any of it. All the nerves are numb. Just keep going. So I'm like bleeding my grandma.
It's like a puppy, like a puppy's dew claw. when you click the quick, right? Or what is that? The quick, the blood part, and it just starts squirting. Like,
And she did, usually that would be like a painful as soon as you hit that nerve, but she didn't feel that.
yeah.
And she's bleeding all over my hands, and she's telling me to continue in Chamorro, and I'm like, oh my God, it's just so frustrating. But I really appreciated that.
So it's not the fact that you had trouble saying certain words to her, communicating certain words
Oh
to her.
no, we were full on.
It was being in a panic situation, an emergency situation, and having to speak in Chamorro in order to do it.
And that would have never happened if I never began communicating with. Like, she wouldn't have asked me to cut her nails, or she wouldn't ask me like, oh man, there's like so many weird things I get myself into. But like, I love it though. The point is, that wouldn't have happened. These experiences that I'm having with my grandparents,
Yeah.
it never would have happened if I didn't pursue this as hard as I did. Yeah, I can like.
How about you? What made you? I guess we'll call it a journey, right? Because you really have to, when you get into something that's cultural or philosophical or maybe a martial art.
Yeah.
If for some reason that's the best way that people can describe any sort of those endeavors, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what made you want to start your journey to, did you grow up speaking Chamorro? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
So-
it wasn't my first language, but I started Hurao when I was 7.
Okay.
So, I mean, I didn't really know what I was
So
doing.
and how long you been doing it?
Myself.
We're just trying to deduce your age right now.
Well, I'm 18.
Okay.
Turning 19. Yeah.
Okay, so you've been doing it
pretty
for
much, yeah.
10, 11 years.
But 7 years
Very
old,
new,
that's
yeah.
still
For
like the
sure, for
sponge effect.
Right,
That's
right.
still prime in that
Right.
area.
Yeah, I really did not know what I was getting myself into. And I think it was, I don't know why this sticks, but I remember going, this was when Hurao was located at the Sinihanya Mayor's office.
Okay.
And I walked in, and Sana Anne-Marie, the founder, Sana Gunifi,
Uh-huh.
she saw me, and I barely even knew her. And she just like, oh, how? And that was the first phrase I learned how to say. And that was really right when I walked in, she greeted me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was already learning from
Right.
the moment I walked in.
For
So
sure.
I think that, man, honestly, it's been a very good journey with Hurao. I mean,
And she's still like that today. If you guys ever encounter Anne-Marie, Sana Gunifi,
yeah, it's very loving.
she has like this aura that everybody can learn Chamorro, like everybody, and she'll treat you like that.
Hmm.
And
Mhm.
you can come and go, and that's kind of how she carries herself.
Yeah.
So then, did you want to go to Hurao? Is that something that your parents decided that you were gonna go to summer school? Because I know Terrence, but he was already a grown adult, right? Speaking what, 25% Chamorro?
Less, dude.
Less?
Definitely less.
Hmm.
My parents, I think because it was a new program, and my parents just decided, and well, they also know Sina Anne Marie and her husband Sina Ray, Sina Paz.
Uh-huh.
So that's kind of how they decided, oh, maybe we should put you in this immersion summer camp.
Right.
And then from there they started the after school program, and so I did that, and I kind of went from being a student to being a volunteer or a helper or nazudanti,
Yeah.
they call it, and then now I'm teaching at the after school program. So
Nice.
yeah.
Nice. So you've completely immersed yourself into wanting to do it. It wasn't just a summer thing or just something you did on break while you were on school. What was it about it that sort of, besides outside of your parents making you want to go or making you go or dropping you there or putting you in it, as an individual, when did it spark for you?
I think it was at that point in my life where I was able to socialize with people my age
Uh-huh.
who knew how to speak Chamorro, and that was when I met Maina.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think I was 3rd grade or 4th grade, and she was my classmate, and because I was still going to Hurao, I was still new to it, but we would always hang out with each other, we'd talk to each other.
I bet it definitely helped.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. And Chamorro was her first language and my second language, so it helped both of us.
Are you sure you don't want to come on here and share your stories here?
Sa diga 5 minutos. Sana magoday, may lamang.
Yeah, so honestly, I feel like it made me appreciate more because it's honestly like it's a coded language.
For sure.
I mean, not everyone can speak it, so if you're in trouble or you want to
talk shit.
well, yeah for real if you want to talk shit with your friends.
I don't know if I shared that story the last time I was on here. So
When you're in the elevator?
yeah, that's the
Okay.
one.
Okay.
But definitely more stories after that.
Yeah. Maybe no one heard it. Let's just share it again. I think it's a great story because I think it becomes a point where you actually realize, like, holy shit, like this is it. And it's for 90% of the Chamorro adults in their 20s to 30s, at least the generation that I'm in, probably we don't speak Chamorro, right?
Yeah.
And just the fact that you can do that here,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
I find myself doing I have like this weird, like now I have this weird relationship with like Manamku or anyone old, like any Samoros. I think like I already countless times I've met like Manamku, and I don't know them. They've never seen them before in my life, and so, dude, when I see these guys, I'll think about anything under the sun to talk about, just so I can speak Chamorro with them, and
What do you think's going through their minds when they see a younger person speak it? Because I remember talking to Dr. Mike Bavacqua, and I'm pretty sure I brought this up many times in the podcast, where when his grandmother heard his kids speaking Chamorro, she cried. Because the last time she heard a child speak Chamorro, that was like back in the 60s, 50s, long time ago. She said it's been decades or something like that since she's heard a child speak Chamorro. 4 years old, as young as 3 or 4 years old, and it blew her mind, caused her to cry and stuff.
I think you said that was with Polyeric, right? I don't know who you. Or no, that was our episode, right? That was when you shared that story about a young person.
Yeah.
I think initially, well, maybe because I'm older, maybe I look middle aged, so they can believe.
You do not look middle aged. Come on.
They still do initially.
You're a big guy. Yes, I agree. You're a big guy, but you can still pass for like 20, 21, Terrence. Come on. If I can pass for 21, you could definitely pass for 21.
All right. I guess initially they're pretty, they're pretty like taken aback. They'll look at me a little funny. and then I'll spit a few more sentences, and they'll communicate back to me.
Do you think there's some sort of testing going on when it comes down to it?
Yeah, that's what it is, and I think that's what a lot of language learners are afraid of. They're afraid that, like, you know, when they start speaking, when they go out and whatever they learn, they're immediately going to be tested, because I think that's with like almost any language. A fluent person is not going to want to talk to a not fluent person in their language, because it's definitely awkward.
You really think it's a binary thing where it's
not
yes
like
or no?
It's not like a bad thing, but
no, like binary, like it's either we talk or we don't talk. If you're fluent or non-fluent, do you really think it's that way? I don't think so.
I think
for some, yeah, definitely
think
some.
so?
Yeah, because there are certain people, you know, that especially that I come across, and I mean, I don't look Tsumoru.
Right.
So, you know, when they hear me speak and they're like, "Oh, wow."
Yeah.
You know,
How cute is that? Is it like a how cute kind of thing?
Yeah,
or?
and then I also do not look 18. Sometimes they think I'm much younger, which sometimes I don't get, but it's my height. But I don't know.
It's the Chamorro genes.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah, because, I mean, I feel, you know, judged many times. I mean, there's many words that I still don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes when...
Really, in the 10 years that you've been speaking, you really think there's words that you don't know? Like ancient words or colloquial words?
I think just... I don't know. I can't even...
Yeah.
There's just a lot. But,
yeah. Same for me. I think that's where I'm at too, you know, learning the super deep words, like words that I think either fell out of use, or it's like it's a rare situation where you would use a word like that, and you know,
or
for
it's
the
rapid.
Yeah, or it's rapid, and
Man,
you have to break it down.
Those are very tricky. It's a rapid speech, so basically, you know, we have a lot of Manamko. They've been speaking Chamorro for pretty much all their lives, and so what they do is that they can turn like a 5-word sentence into like 3 words.
3 or 2 words.
Like, for example, like when you're asking someone, like, where is this, right? You can say, Amanu nagaigi esti, right? But if you've been speaking Chamorro for a very long time, it turns into mongi esti. So, like, many people, especially those that are learning Chamorro at an older age, don't realize that many things that are being said are actually, they're broken down.
Down or completely chopped out of the sentence. I think one of my favorite examples, and I shared it on the Instagram, is para bai huhanao para itenda. I had Sinagonifi, recorded, and so para bai huhanao para itenda is, I'm going to the store.
Yeah.
Dude, grandparents, especially mine, beano pa itenda. It's like, whoa, where did more than half that sentence go?
Why do you think that is, though?
Like most languages, they like feel they don't need to specify who is going to the store. They don't need to specify.
Damn English speakers! Oh my goodness, got so many questions.
Or even in English too, right? With our friends, we'd say, "Hey, going to the store? You need anything?"
Yeah.
We wouldn't be like, "Hey, I am going to the store. Do you need anything?"
Understood.
And
understood.
Like,
understood.
Why are you talking like that, dude? No, I'm good, bro.
Why are you talking like a robot?
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean that sort of makes it's. I guess it's a colloquial term, right?
And we did that last time.
So when I was in Hong Kong, I was staying in an international hostel, and I was with this Canadian guy, and he was trying to talk to this German girl, and he googled like language or just
an app,
kind of like Google Translate. There it is. Yeah. Google translated, what he wanted to say. Mm-hmm. And he said it to them, and they started laughing at him, and they're like, "You sound like a robot."
Probably because he said the Google Translate was like proper.
Yeah,
or
it's like people don't actually talk like that. It was way too proper, right?
Yeah.
So,
I think that's become the norm, really. So like with the class, with the talk we had, adult class. It came to a point where, yes, we're going to teach you, the structure, how to say things properly, but at the same time, Manamko are not going to talk to you like this. So we also had to explain to them too, this is how they say it, However, this is really what they're trying to say.
Right.
Yeah. So it's really just knowing both, and it really helps you understand what's being said to you.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that point up. That's kind of Hurao. They do that where they want you to speak. You know, we're so focused on getting you out there and being a speaker to speak and communicate with other actual fluent speakers. But in order to get there, we kind of want to teach you where there comes from. Like, how did that sentence get rid of half of its words? Like, how, you know.
And what do you guys teach about it?
Like, why, what words are swallowed? Why
are they swallowed? Sorry, I'm just curious.
No, yeah.
I mean, I know I'm asking
rapid
for a free.
speech.
I'm asking for a free class right now.
Oh, that's great. That's great. That's
free crash course 101 tomorrow.
I guess that's rapid speech, and then we just like to call it, you know, the because rule. That's just how that's how it became. Because that's how we save it.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, because it's hard to explain.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's hard to explain why people who weren't taught Chamorro choose.
Yeah.
They're right, not taught, but grew up with it. Right. Then there's a real huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
And sometimes our parents or even Manamko, they won't have a reason. They'll just tell you because. Now stop questioning me. And they'll, like, you know, that's kind of how it is, dude. I can't even stress. That's how it is.
Oh my God, that's so Chamorro.
Okay, dude, especially
all the way down to the language, man. Not only customs and beliefs, but language, because I said so.
Yeah, that's true. They wouldn't have the reason why it's like that or why it's said like that. But at the same time, you kind of want to accept it for that too, because you wouldn't want to go out and saying it the way you thought was the correct way or the way you want to say it, because they're gonna, you know, fluent speakers are gonna look at you funny, like the Canadian German translate
to where they can tell that you're sort of a novice.
Yeah.
Like one example. Again, with my grandma, so funny, and she's
actually you should. If you guys don't follow Terrence, you guys should follow Terrence on Instagram and watch his stories. What's your handle? We might as well throw out your handle right now.
It's just Rence DB, so RENCE DB.
RESPCT. RENCE.
And so with my grandma, right? This one day, I don't know why, I just blanked out and I forgot penga, you know, stuffed crab, and so I was sitting there eating penga with my grandma, and I forgot the word penga, and I go, "Tamano masongan stuffed crab. You know, how do you say stuffed crab? Ko sinya bisongan sinhalam ni panglaw." And like she just looked like, you know, we were in a happy mood. And she just looks at me. And she's like, "Why would you even say that? You don't say that at all. It's penga." And I was like,
well, thanks for
the motivation. Thanks for the help. And that's what I love. Like, sometimes they'll just snap at you just because it's that gross, or I don't know. I guess what I said to her was like so awful. But then again, too, I did forget that.
Does she understand that you've just started learning?
That I've been learning. Yeah, that I've been learning. But her patience is growing less, which is good. Right. It's like you know, we can argue about cutting her nails, so we're pretty good right now. Like, dude, that was even after that, I walked upstairs, you know, and my hands are all bloody, and my brother Cody looks at me and goes, "What did you just do?" I was like, "Oh man, grandma, man." But that was awesome, though.
Dude, you should really think about doing a blog with you and your grandma.
Man,
at least speaking in Chamorro, right? And it'll really encourage people who are wanting to learn Chamorro, or not even wanting to learn the language, but wanting to reconnect with their roots, right? A lot of people in the States, and there's a lot of people you can connect with in that way. I don't know, just a thought, right? I mean, like I said, your Instagram stories are freaking funny, dude. You know, it's like, damn, this is your interaction. You're always interacting with her. She's like chowing Chamorro style with her hands, you know.
Oh man,
would you ever consider doing something like that?
Well, I mean, if you don't count my Instagram videos as blogs, then
it is. I mean, yeah, you're right. It's sort of a blog, but right, it's
it goes
24
away.
24 hours, it goes away, right?
Yeah, it definitely sounds. I mean, I haven't really thought about it. That sounds like something like definitely I want to do that now. Like that's I guess I'm kind of just been building experiences with her.
Yeah, for
just
sure.
not really recording it.
Right, and it's an
Yeah.
experience that you never really experienced all your life,
Yeah.
at least for 80% of your life, right? Throwing out statistics now or like percentages, like I
Yeah.
know
Definitely,
about
but
87.6% of your life.
yeah. Damn, yeah, definitely. I guess too for myself, I'm just so focused on reconnecting with them. Not that I wasn't disconnected, but like that's exactly what I was thinking up until like 26, 27 years of my life. I spent that much time with these two people, and I don't really know them at all. They're my parents. They're my dad's parents.
Do they speak?
Don't really know.
Is it broken English?
No, they're good at English.
Okay.
My grandma was a teacher, but like she's deep in Aloha. She has like 10 brothers and sisters.
Right.
All speak Tomorrow. So it was very good. It was it's still rewarding to be able to speak to her in the language. She's gonna be more comfortable in Tomorrow for the rest of her life. That's just naturally. She's still has spoken more Tomorrow than English for her entire life, and that's anyone her age, my grandpa's age. So
yeah, very interesting, man. Yeah, my good. Sorry, good.
no, yeah, and that's the last point to that with my grandparents is that Sanagwinifi preaches. If you speak English, you can communicate to these people. But if you speak Tomorrow, you're gonna connect with them. You're gonna engage their heart. You're gonna
that's deep.
Yeah, you're going to heighten so much senses in them.
They might even just share some secrets with you just because you speak the language, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that something that you experience? Like someone telling your cousin something.
Well,
don't tell your cousin something, and
well, I don't know about secrets.
I'm just joking. Yeah.
I don't know about secrets, but I think
here's the family secret.
I think it's super funny when my family members forget that, because like I have a little brother.
Okay.
And he was still a baby when I joined Hurao, so but he understands completely. So it's really funny, like when we're in public, or when we're at like a family gathering, and my aunties and uncles are like talking smack about someone else, and my brother and I are just cracking up on the side because we know everything that they're saying, and then we share it with our parents because I think that has to be the best part. Just understanding.
Do your
all
parents
the
speak Chamorro?
Yes, and it was because of Hurao that they started. Yeah, because when I started, because the adult classes are really recent.
Right.
So when I started, they didn't have any of that. So it was really just
come if you want.
Yeah, and it was, or even just hanging out at Hurao with the other parents. So that's honestly what made my parents learn how to speak.
Yeah. Yeah, easier to connect with you.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yep. Kind of sucks sometimes though. I mean, no. Actually, no, it doesn't suck. But I mean, it's great. I mean, it's great.
I wish I just knew German.
It's great. No, because like sometimes, sometimes my patience, it's really hard. Sometimes like my parents, because I don't know everything in Chamorro. I mean, yes, I can speak. I can keep up a conversation, but that's, that has to be the extent of it all. And my parents we're all still learning. I mean, everyone's still learning really with the language. So when we're at home and my mom, we're all speaking in Chamorro, and oh man, and then one person doesn't know one word, and just like dead silence because are like, just don't continue your story. And then, sometimes it's a really good story, so you just have to be quiet and think about it. And if you don't know it, screw it.
Yeah, story ends right there.
Story ends right there, Because then my mom, she's like,
I pay for all these classes for you to not know that word.
It's really great though. I mean, growing up with Chamorro, I didn't appreciate it until these guys came along. I mean,
interesting.
I was a student, yeah. And
so what age were you when you really realized that there was a real appreciation?
I mean, besides being able to socialize, with my Ina,
right.
And then there was one of our other friends, but it was really just us, and we were just kids, so we just thought, oh, it's just something we do,
right?
It's whatever, we're just going to Hurao, that's it,
right?
We're unique.
Mine
not weird.
Yeah,
we just speak another language. I mean, it's really nothing much. But
I think I kind of see what you're talking about though, because my cousin he went to Hurao since he was a kid, and I had no idea that he was
Trev.
Trev. He was in Hurao for that whole time, and I've always wondered. I was like, is it like you said? Now it's like sparking in my brain. Like, oh wait, is it now? When do you come to appreciate it?
yeah.
Is it something that you were just like, oh, okay, we're just gonna learn? It's like, oh, going to computer class or going to shop class or whatever
Yeah.
it may be. But
Yeah.
now there's like a deeper meaning to it to you now that you're an adult.
Yeah.
And I think maybe too. So when Pete, John, and I, when we first got there, or them before me, and then other adults, I think this was the time where Hurao first opened for adult classes. So when these adults get there and we're like so jaw dropped and in wonder and awe of these young, even kids younger than them speaking, we're totally mind blown.
Yeah.
I think maybe that too helped your appreciation. That maybe kind of helped you, like, oh wow, these guys are kind of.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. And then later on, I mean, because when I started, there were only 3 levels. So you had Manatseng, which was like I'd say maybe 6 to 10. And then Atawid was like 10 to 13 maybe. And then Matao was anyone older
They
than
sat
that.
on the outside of the circle as the
Yeah,
Manatsang,
yeah.
right?
But recently, though, or actually maybe a few summers ago, we decided to bring in a Maneni. So I think, honestly, like, it was the youngest was maybe 2 or 3, slightly potty trained.
Yeah.
And so
Those
I
guys
know,
pick
man.
it up fast. They're like, obviously they're the fastest
For sure.
because
Yeah.
really they're learning English at the same time. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And then I think
Isn't there a daycare somewhere in Dedido that's all
yeah.
all
It's-
Chamorro speaking daycare?
Yeah. Gosh, it's like the longest name ever. It really is.
I forgot.
Oh, Sagwan.
Second.
Sagan Finanagwin Finotsumoto or something. I don't know. But yeah,
They need an acronym, right?
yeah. For real. No, honestly, though, like, even just seeing those kids grow up. I mean, I'm still with Hurao, but sometimes I see kids outside of Hurao. I'm like, whoa,
Yeah.
these kids are huge.
Yeah, I remember when I don't know. I can't remember what we shared with each other in the last podcast. It was so long ago, about a year. I remember being in 3rd grade, and there was a kid, Walter, who was the only one that can speak Chamorro, and we were always so amazed by the fact that like, whoa, he speaks Chamorro, like, and he knows a trick where he pops up his hat into the air. That's such an elementary trick, they blow onto their thumb and the hat goes levitates, right? The hat's levitating, but they're just leaning against the wall.
Yeah.
How Walter was his last name, or
Come on, boo. it
or
hasn't
like
been that
where's
long.
it from?
Walter De La Cruz.
Walter De La Cruz.
Yeah, I want to say it's De La Cruz. Sorry, Walter. If you happen to listen to this, I just called out your last
Man,
name. It was something that, but we were all blown away as kids, right? Because every single one of us kids grew up speaking English.
Yeah.
Everyone I knew at my elementary school, we were all English speakers.
Yeah.
Man, I'm wondering if do you remember Matt Sablon or an Angel Sablon? Matt Sablon, he's 2006 FD grad.
No.
Anyways, that is my Ina and Anna's oldest brother,
Okay.
Saina Gunifi's son. So
Okay.
he was a really quiet dude, FD, probably why you never remember him. But yeah, the whole time, he's a year younger than you, year older than me.
Okay.
Never realized he spoke Chamorro. It's crazy. Like, I was like, what? Matt Sablon? What?
Yeah, I think, and going back to my cousin Trev, I think he keeps it to himself a lot because a lot of us, a lot of his cousins, us, don't speak Chamorro.
Yeah.
So he can't relate with us on that level. So he'd rather, just sort of do it, communicate with us the way he wants to communicate with us. But if he could, I'm sure, is he pretty fluent?
Yeah, I mean, every summer he comes and he
like helps out and stuff.
He helps out, and Saina can give him full-on instructions for an entire day.
Yeah.
Can go through it, no problem.
Dang.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's a
Just because
last.
he started like same age as you guys, or not? Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I remember
maybe.
him
Yeah,
being
around the same
young.
time.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you know, the younger you are, I guess the sponge effect is still stronger. So, but I think to add to that point, I that's why I find myself like creeping on these manunkus, man. Like I'll just, if I'm in line for somewhere or I'm like doing something and I see them or they're in my presence, you know, like I said, I'll just find anything under the sun to talk about. Just cause, you know, I wouldn't look to young people. I wouldn't be like, man, I can't talk to them. In Tomorrow, they don't really. So, yeah.
Yeah, man. You know, going back to connecting with the older generation, right? It's I remember back in 2011, I had a flip phone then, and
Everyone had a flip
yeah,
phone.
right. We all had flip phones, and I remember recording my grandmother, asking her about her life. We sat at the table. Her favorite thing to do. This is 2010, 2011. I had just moved back to Guam, and she passed away in 2011. And I remember sitting at the table with her, put my phone on the table, and I face it to her like this, and I start asking her questions. I felt like this is where the podcast really, really started. Right?
Yeah.
Like this is
Recording
Yeah.
spirit.
ultimate origins. Right? So, and yeah, I felt like because Chamorro was her first language, I felt like I had that real connection with her. Maybe she was old, you know, maybe she's older now,
Yeah.
but I felt like I couldn't really grasp or connect with what she really wanted to say, because maybe she only can express it in Chamorro, or maybe it's easier for her in Chamorro. And but I did get some information out of her from where she grew up, how it was for her during the war, what they did. They fled, her and her family fled from Sinanya to Ipan. So they walked all the way down to Talafofo. And then when she grew up, she sold auto insurance and stuff like that. So I'm just now it makes me curious. You know, you have this connection with your grandmother on like a different level of how I was,
Easy.
how on a different level and double the level of what I was able or to attain with my grandparents every time I spoke to them, right? And blows my mind, man.
Man, I can't. There's a lot of stuff that I want to share, but I'm just like blanking out right now. Yeah, it's almost every day I would talk to them, and oh man, I'm totally drawing a blank.
Yeah, it just makes me curious that I wonder, like, if both my grandparents are alive and the times where they did stay with my family,
Yeah.
what kind of conversations could I have gotten out of them, right?
Yeah.
Rather than trying to them like, oh, hold on, what's the word I'm looking for?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what's the English word I'm looking for when Chamorro was more of a natural thing, right?
Yeah.
Nostalgia, or I don't know, like I think too though it's not just with the Manumco. So with like my uncle John, that's my mom's oldest brother.
Okay.
He's not Manumco. He's still definitely young. He's still working. There's that middle age to upper
Right,
generation that's
right.
still definitely fluent.
Yeah, my mom's sisters
Yeah.
all speak. Yeah,
And I
I'm
think
pretty sure my dad's older siblings speak too.
so. My uncle John, he was recently in the hospital, and he had an unfortunate. I think his prostate was a little bit expanded, and he couldn't use the restroom, and so. Again, this is all in Tomorrow. He, dude, I recorded it all on Snapchat. This guy had to go through 4 catheters. Dude, I don't know if you've ever felt a catheter, but
No.
they stick a
Tube up
tube.
your dick.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
dude. I've had one. That was right after my car accident, and oh my gosh, just one. So he's explaining to me tomorrow and like how he had to go through 4, and he was, this is be censored, but he was saying he'd rather be like have other things done to him than to have all like to just have one of those happen to him, let alone 4 times. Like by the end, he was shaking. He was ready to just like die. He was ready to die, and I'm just laughing super hard in the hospital. And we could have had that conversation in English, but he was also one of my he was one of my relatives helping me, aside from my grandparents and a few of my older relatives, like my uncle. And so he shared that story with me, and I was like, again, just blown away. Like, he was sharing with me his pain after the fact. It was funny, but the fact that he could share with me in tomorrow, and it was so enjoyable because I'm laughing my ass off. Like, I was like, wow, that's so painful. And I know what he's talking about because I've had one.
Yeah.
And it worked the first time.
How did you get into a car accident? When was this?
This was spring 2013. I was it was in Iran. I was just on my way up to my grandma's house. Yeah. And the oncoming lane, so I don't know, she fell asleep and she
quote unquote
allegedly.
That's
I
where
apologize for the quote unquote.
Yeah.
It says on the police report. So
right.
But yeah, she hit me, and then in the hospital I didn't pee for like 2 days. No, day and a half. But I pee like every 4 or 5 hours. So
right.
They had the nurse was so funny too, and she had an accent. She's like telling me, she was Filipino, so she was like, I'm not going to lie to you. This is going to hurt. And I was like, man, we can't do like the angel does. You can't like put me under. Oh, sir, that's like $2,000. And I was looking at my parents, and they're like, "We ain't paying that. You already know what mess you're in right now." And
oh my god, that's so hilarious. Okay.
Oh my gosh, and like the fact, so how nurses, like, they'll lie to you.
I never want to get into an accident,
dude. I'm telling you. So I want to even share that too. I want to share that too. Like, after the initial accident.
Take me now.
Dude, after the initial accident, I want to share that. Like, dude, I had to pull my leg out because for some reason I couldn't move it. Mm-hmm. Dude, I couldn't feel my leg. So I was like, what the heck? So I busted my door open, and I'm like hard of breathing. And I was like trying to pull my leg. I pull it out, and the whole, from my femur down, just hangs. And my femur's sticking out, is shooting blood. And I was like, I freaked out, let alone, wow, that's definitely got to be the most painful thing. That is not the most painful thing I've ever felt. Try getting a catheter, boys. Gentlemen, if you've ever had a catheter, it's like a sting, and then like just a really strong guy punching you in the balls, in the stomach, in the whole. And so.
Oh, you're so calm about it now.
My own. I mean,
you're just happy you're not in that situation at this moment, right?
For my uncle to go through 4.
Yeah.
So they put in like a regular medium-sized one. He was telling me in tomorrow, put in a regular medium-sized one. It's not penetrating the bladder. Pulled it out. Oh, dude, pulling it out is just as painful as putting it in, because didn't work. It wasn't going into the bladder. They stuck in a second one, a little bit larger. Didn't work. Then they stuck one in smaller than the first one, which is still like anything you stick inside your penis is gonna hurt.
Yeah.
And
can't relate.
Oh, dude. So
I appreciate
good clip there.
The fact
So
that
you're learning here, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're learning today. You thought we were gonna talk about tomorrow only, right?
Hold on, though, because this conversation wasn't tomorrow. And so he says, okay, that didn't work, third one. And then the last one, which is the most painful one, was the largest tube.
Yeah.
Because they had to, like, he was saying, like, they had to, like, shimmy it past the prostate gland or whatever. Oh, my gosh, dude, I was laughing super hard. He was telling me, like, he kept shaking, and he would have rather just died, and, like, dang. This Spencer. Oh, dude. Yeah, I was like,
I don't know how to feel right now. What a story. Well, the point of your story that it was all spoken into Chamorro, right?
Yeah, and I felt he had like he had an easier time explaining that in Chamorro, and it was really, 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 really funny. It was so funny.
dude. I want to go into the we dug into everything that we could, and I really want to go into the course, because when you guys first came on, the course was just about to start. You were about 9 months in, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And from there, what happened in the past year for the course, and how did it evolve? How did it develop?
So it did come from that too. So that course was happening, and we were sitting in the class, me, John, and Pete. And as we were sitting there, Sina was doing the course, and she was doing the regular lessons, and it did speed up the process in that we were helping in areas we remembered we had troubles in, and that was kind of like the seed of how the idea of us teaching came to be. So we never really thought about teaching, because we ourselves, we still have our advanced class and we're still learning. And so while we're being like, teacher's aid to these students, it was Sina kind of thought about that idea, like, you know what? I think if all three of you put your minds together, you guys would do just as good as myself, maybe better, for beginners. Not, we don't technically have qualifications, but based on what we learned and like the obstacles we've overcome, because like I said, in our
you're qualified enough to be like an elementary school teacher,
Mm-hmm.
right?
We know that much pretty much, and
sorry, not to demean. I didn't.
No, I myself
that
too.
demeaned anything.
We all that were like, whoa, are you sure? I don't think I can do that. I'm not confident. And
Right,
he was
okay.
like, no. I think you guys definitely, you remember all the basics. You know the rules. For the beginner's course of 4 months, you definitely can teach those things.
Right.
And man, this lady, she's a dreamer, and that's exactly what her name is. She's signed at Jeniece. Guifi is the dream. Jeniece is a dream, or the noun. And it worked out so well because, like, for one thing I'm like really happy was Sina Guinifi is super busy, and a couple of times she had to cancel class either to make a meeting for, like, I don't know, Sag and Coutura, or like she's on the board for like so many things.
She's super busy.
She's so busy.
Yeah.
And I would kind of get bummed, like, man, we canceled class. But between Pete, John, and I, and even Mamis and Maina, we never canceled class. And what would you call it, like the return rate, or like, people either stayed.
They were super consistent. Yeah, I think seeing all the other adult classes, they were, and it makes sense. I mean, they have their families, they're busy. If they can't make it, it's okay, because sometimes like after work but these people were super dedicated.
It was, not to speak badly about anything.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Sina Guinifi was just busy, and all 12, 13 people were dependent on this one person.
For sure.
Yeah.
Whereas our class, me, John, and Pete's, with the help of Mamis and Mina, there was 5 of us to spread out the workload, to spread out
the help.
And then
Yeah.
the other part of it was, one, we didn't think we were ready, but Sina thought we were ready and we can do it. We did try. The other part was we were to share the areas where we struggled with, to give them that advantage to when we came across those questions that we once had, we shared how we did it. Oh, okay. I had that habit. This is what I did.
Right.
This is the exercise I did. This is,
Here's the secrets.
yeah.
Wow.
And it worked out so well. Like,
Yeah, I'm sure. I can imagine it did, because now instead of one person teaching it, and say Terrence, you're teaching it and you're by yourself, and you don't know something, then you're like, oh, okay, next class I'll get back to you.
that,
But now you have 4 minds to really like turn to.
that happened several times.
Yeah.
I got stuck a couple times, and then Pete like jumped in and asked me a question, and I was like, okay, back on track. Or when me, John, and Pete didn't know something, my Ina was there. She knew it.
Yeah.
Like the rules that are still weird and that we struggle with.
Yep.
Like
an example is
Is it more on the technical side of it, or is it more on the colloquial side of it? Right, because you guys are saying there's two
Mm-hmm.
sort of things you have to be be aware of.
Yeah. I think one example that I keep bringing up, and because we're still struggling with it, is the word work and eat, which is so funny. It's still so funny that
Separated by apostrophe marks.
they're spelled the same. They're exactly spelled the same, but they're separated by an apostrophe. So totsu and totsu is. We have how many lessons on just those two words,
Yeah.
and the reason we have a hard time with it is because they're so special that when you try to pluralize it or make it past tense or the problem is both of them are kind of the same spelling and with exception of the apostrophe, and then they don't go by the natural rule of things. So that was like a lesson we struggled with, and we had to present it to this new group, but as a team we like overcame it, and we were able to we eventually we would just tell them like, okay, don't worry, there's a lot of time. We're gonna keep going
On
over
to the
this.
next one. We'll just skip this one this week.
because man, that word is just
No, but how did you really solve the problem then?
but Sinagunifi, a lot of times when we came, I think the first time we came across that problem, we mentioned it to Sinagunifi on the off day, so Tuesday would be the off day, and then she came in Wednesday, and we did it. But the thing is, we had that lesson already in our class, and we're still like struggling with that word.
Yeah. How can you tell as now teachers of the adult class, when do you determine that an adult is ready to move on to learning something new, or do you just kind of throw it at them in a certain fashion and be like, okay, well, pop quiz, you know? I can't imagine it'll be a pop quiz, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what, like, you know, it's not so much a traditional class,
Yeah.
right? We do have homework, and we do, you know, we encourage you to do the what we prescribe to you.
Yeah.
But what ends up happening is you come back the next class and we review, and then we engage each and every person, kind of give examples, you know. The other important thing is Hurao is a safe learning environment. We preach that, you know, you're here to learn. So if you're wrong, you're wrong.
Yeah.
And we're going to help you be correct. So it's not like if you have a wrong answer, sad, you didn't study, you didn't do your work, sad, you know, you're
Shame,
you're paying for this.
Shame. Ding.
And I constantly have to preach and remember that you're learning language. It's the means and the mode for communication. So it's like you're going to be wrong a lot. So if you like have this pride issue, or if you you know, if you have, I guess, a problem with being wrong a lot, you know, maybe you shouldn't be learning any other language.
Yeah, I was told that Chamorro is hard because it's not associative with other languages. So like if you know one romance language, you can actually try and learn other romance languages because they're sort of similar in structure, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say for sure. I don't even know if that's a fact. But
Yeah, and I think a lot of things too is that, you know, there are still many things that are trying to be figured out
right.
with the Chamorro language. You know, every language is
Evolving.
Yeah,
right.
it's constantly evolving. So, you know,
I think English is still evolving too. They have a new word every year.
For real, yeah. Right. So, you know, like with Chamorro, you know, when they ask us a question, sometimes we're like, you know, is it? Like we have to ask ourselves too, you know, because even like with, you know, like sentences, you know, there's sometimes if you switch around the words, it means the same thing. But some people don't get that, you know, and it goes back to the whole norms versus standard kind of way, you know, the way it's spoken versus the proper way of it being said.
Proper, quote unquote, right?
Yeah, proper, yeah. 'Cause what is proper?
Right.
I mean, so, but yeah, I mean, there's honestly, I think it's just a matter of being open-minded when you come in, because, I mean, yes, you know, learning Chamorro as a second language is going to be a challenge because English, you know, it's your first language. That's all you really know.
For sure.
So, just being open-minded, taking it as it, you know, as it comes. I think that had to be the one of the biggest things that helped the class.
Yeah.
Is that, you know, sometimes just gotta take it in and say it as it is. Sometimes questioning it, you know, you don't know.
I was telling Terrence, do a podcast, man. You know what I mean? Do your lesson, do your lessons in Chamorro. You know, and it's not you're taking the learning outside of the classroom now. You know, it's and because podcasts are so easy to listen to, imagine the adults who are taking the course, right? They want to learn more. They want to learn more into this sort of
man, and you totally like juke my mind with that. That was so crazy. Because my idea to him was like, oh, I just want to have like this crazy epic dinner with Chamorro speakers under 30 years of age, and maybe, you know, we can like just have this one epic party. And then, you know, I loved you were just like, dude, why don't you record it? Why don't you do a podcast? And I was like,
dude. I mean,
wait a minute.
I mean, you can have and it can literally just be the teachers too, right? Of the adult cohort, and it's you guys conversing, or it can be the lesson that day, or it can be the words that you couldn't figure out, right? And it's I think people will grasp onto it. I think now the learning comes outside of Hurao Academy and into the telephones, the cell phones, right? Videos. I'm all for it. Ever since I started doing this podcast and like really realizing the importance of media, people shooting landscape shots, shooting drone shots, shooting shots of just like buildings here on Guam or whatever, or making music or drawing art or anything. The culture, the new culture, and it's a very good way for the old culture to mend in with the new culture is through podcasting, right? And it doesn't have to be like this long form conversational. It can be lessons. It can be legends, right? It can be stories. It can be Terrence talking to his grandma, you know? Literally, dude, it can be anything.
Man, and I super enjoyed all the podcasts you had with Father Eric, Dr. Mike Bavacqua, like any culture-based episode. And honestly, I didn't start listening to other podcasts until Master Random.
Thank you.
Our own island podcast.
Thank you.
And one experience that came from listening to these podcasts, like to Lenny on his episode 100, and then Amid, like all these things, Frank the Crank, all these inspirational people that just worked towards doing what they love.
Right.
Like, every one of those episodes, especially, they were like, they're kind of like push the trigger messages. Right. Dude, if you love to do something, why don't you just do it? Stop, you know, especially you with the podcast. Yeah, and that's exactly what the name of the class is. That's what our class names are. So go ahead, just do it.
Okay.
So we have 1 through 7 right now. So yeah, just do it. And these episodes, what it did was, so I gave myself a timeline. I wanted to start carving jewelry, you know, and I gave myself until like maybe next year or the year after, because I wanted to be super fluent in Chamorro. And all these episodes kept telling me, like, dude, you're okay now. Just do it. Just go and start carving. Go and learn from whoever. And so what I did was, I think around Micronesian Island Fair, or after one of these episodes, I pulled the trigger and I called Master Carver Greg Pangilinan. And after that conversation, which was in Chamorro too, he was willing to teach me, and, you know, free of charge, and I was here ready to pay and, you know, start taking lessons. And he was like, no, yeah. And I felt that he kind of took a liking to this, and so since November, a little bit after November, I've been learning under him, and I kind of started this journey, not premature, but like early, just because of these episodes, just because of these,
it's
like,
not early, bro.
Movies, yeah, like these episodes that tell me, dude, just go, just do it. Like, you want it, do it.
It's never too early.
Right, it's never too early. And one thing I'm really starting to realize is there's never a right time to do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we're all
Very
waiting
true.
for, I'm just waiting for the perfect time. Mercury has to be rising and, the sun has to be setting at a 35-degree angle and, it has to be 70 degrees that night. And that's when I'm going to start. But no, dude. All it really takes is reaching out to somebody. And that's what I've learned on this podcast too, talking to a lot of these entrepreneurs and artists and people that really want to do something is all it takes is asking. Just ask.
Yep.
Ask somebody.
And
And if they don't know, I'm sure someone's gonna point you in that direction that you need to be. Right? And like that famous Calvin and Hobbes quote, I'm not where I want to be, but I know I'm not where I wanted to be, but I'm where I need to be at this moment, right?
Yeah.
And if you're constantly waiting, it's never gonna happen. Right? Gosh, I mean, you can go on with all the cliche quotes, right?
Yeah.
and that's good, man. I'm really happy, dude, that you found the podcast is sort of like this inspiration to push yourself to start now, dude. It took me 10 months to start this shit. I had all the gear, I had everything to record an episode, but I felt like I wasn't ready. Oh, it wasn't the right time. It's never the right time. Just do it now, right?
And going back to like asking, like one thing that we encourage any of the adult students is just to have like a resource outside of Hurao. So, like whether it's your grandparent or your auntie or your uncle that knows how to speak Samoru, then just ask. I mean, yes, they might get impatient because I remember sometimes like some of the students would share how they asked their dad and their dad got mad or irritated because they were like, you know what, you're not saying you're right. I don't know what you're doing. So, but honestly, it really just is asking and then being, like what I said, open-minded because, people are going to judge you. I mean, but honestly,
there's a threshold that if you do it long enough and consistent enough, people will start questioning your credibility and questioning whether they must be serious.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Yeah.
Because in a lot of things, right? You start off 3 weeks. In 3 weeks, say a batch of people start something at the same time. In 3 weeks, it'll probably be like a really small batch, right? People tend to fall off, and so other people sort of lose that you know what, it's gonna die down. It's gonna die down.
Yeah.
It's like that New Year's resolution thing, or
Yeah.
I'm gonna start the gym today, and
But
3 weeks later, it's like you haven't gone to the gym, or you went to the gym for 3 weeks,
totally
and
me.
but that's everybody, right?
Yeah.
And it's not with the gym, only with the gym. It's with everything in life,
yeah.
dude.
Yeah,
Everything in life. Dude, imagine you're 18, I'm 30, right? I've done a lot of that, and you've barely even touched the point of that shit.
Yeah.
Keep failing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the only way to grow is to fail. And a lot of people are afraid to fail. A lot of people are afraid to misstep and maybe
stay within their comfort zone. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you're too comfortable, then you'll never learn, you'll never grow.
Yep.
You can go on your phone and learn about stuff on the internet, but the real learning comes from experiences. The real growth comes from experiences. The real learning, I'm sure, for Terrence comes with communicating with his grandma, right? The real experience of, besides Hurao class, is the communication with your elders.
Yep.
Man, and dude, that's a great point, because there's been so much people that would message the Hurao Instagram asking if we have any online stuff. And it's not like...
Gotta do it, man. Seriously. I mean, there's a reason why they're asking, though. Right? It seems hard. It seems tedious.
Definitely.
But when you do it and you actually create because there's no system laid out.
Yeah.
Right? You guys have to literally start from scratch. Okay. Our Master Random website is like, what the fuck are we going to put on the website? Sitting there like...
The episodes, but
what else are we going to put? So if you go to the Master Random website, www.masterrandom.com, you'll see our about page. You know, it's very simple, and I realized like, wait, that's it. I can put the live stream on the website. Oh, and I can put on our about. Oh, and maybe I can do some video episodes, or I can do a contact. Dude, making a website it's so much easier than it was back 10 years ago, 5 years ago. Seriously, and dude, there's a reason why people are asking you, hey, you got any online stuff? Because a lot of us don't have time, right? We were talking about time earlier. Like, we got all the time in the world, but you're only going to make time for stuff at your convenience. Everybody likes that sort of like convenient feeling. Like, oh, shit, I can buy something online without lifting a foot, just a finger. Right? I don't have to get into my car. Yeah, I don't have to get into my car and drive to Ross to go buy something.
Stand in line.
Yeah. Or I can buy this at Home Depot, and all I got to do is pick it up. I don't have to walk through that freaking football field of a warehouse.
Man, that was crazy what Amit was talking about. Like, he's developing, what is it? Like someone to shop for you and then bring it to you.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
Grocery
That's
shopping.
Like, wow.
Dude, and even I'm not too sure if he's launched it yet, but even the the moving truck service.
Oh, like, that one,
you have a truck and someone needs to move a couch or a bed, boom. I only have a sedan. Well, that's not a problem anymore.
Like, moving a couch is not even a thought for you. I have a car. Well, don't bother me. But if you know like 100 people with trucks,
so I mean, so yeah, go back to you know, people on messaging you online and stuff.
I think, like for Sina too, you know, she's our leader. She makes everything happen. It's not that she doesn't want online stuff. It's that most of the programs are so interactive that's the problem. We don't know how to put that online, and maybe with like video streams or I don't know. Online classes where
webinars. Yeah. Dude, we should talk after this. Seriously, open you guys' eyes to some stuff that are really possible for you. You know, and everything is super possible. Everything that you guys are talking about with the webinars and online classes, or even just a lesson of the day in the corner of the website.
I think about that too because it's so needed. I mean, the people that are messaging other than that is definitely most of our native people are stateside now. You know, tomorrow
for sure.
California.
Dude,
and so
and what you can do. Let's talk offline about that. For real. I'm serious. Like there's so much you can do. People, I can guarantee people are willing to pay a membership fee to get access to whatever classes or webinars or coloring chamorro coloring book. You know what I mean? Like printable chamorro coloring book. Like,
I know, it's super cool.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing, is that as we get older, more people are migrating away. There's a diaspora that's been going on because there's nothing here. There's no opportunity here on Guam. So the first thing I want to do is move out to the States. And dude, of course I want to go to the mall. Of course I want to go to Disneyland. Of course I want to go to Six Flags. Of course I want to go to Yosemite National Park. Of course I want to go do all these things because I want to go snowboarding. You can't do any of that here. I want to get a really super good education, quote unquote, right? Mm-hmm. I want to get a really good job, but we're growing so much here on Guam that all those opportunities are now available. I don't know. Be created. People are creating opportunities for us.
Yeah.
Look at the food trucks. Look how quickly food trucks like sprang up. Now that puts a whole another group of people in business, making money, right?
Yeah.
And
I think one of the episodes I enjoyed especially was with the artists, like with Jed, with Matt, and Ty Adawag. You put it in perspective, like people that are talented with their music, they don't have to go off island anymore. They could stay here and they can be proud of what they do and they can charge that extra. And I loved how you got into the whole Guam does have it. If you're leaving because Guam doesn't have it, that's the wrong attitude.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially with those guys, and
it's a super open market here.
Yeah. And how they have like 5 gigs a week, not in one place.
Yeah, you have full-time musicians, you have full-time artists, and how many of those were common 20 years ago? 30 years ago. I would like to say it wasn't common.
No, yeah, it wasn't. And that was during when the mindset was heavy of, oh, you have this talent, you need to go off island.
Yeah.
You got to go and pursue it.
Boy,
Pursue it.
Don't do that here. Better get a real job.
Yeah, if you work or you go to school, that's it.
Right.
Yeah.
But now you can now selling jewelry, creating and selling jewelry, whether it be traditional jewelry or, new gold jewelry, then you can sell it online without having to leave here.
Yep.
Crazy, man. It's super crazy, and I'm really hopeful for the Hurao Academy.
Yeah.
I think what the academy is doing, I hope one day it turns into one of those schools in Hawaii. There's a school in the Big Island, and it's a cultural school, right? They learn language, they learn traditional weaving, they learn the chants, they learn all kinds of cultural stuff. It's a cultural school, right? I don't know if can you see if you can pull that school, and I think it's on Big Island, man. I've seen a documentary.
Man, if you give me the name, if I'm not mistaken, that's the model that Hurao is going off of.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the immersion school that
Polynesian Immersion School, Hawaii, or something like that.
Yeah, like the like what you said.
Do you remember the name?
Man, I don't know.
Anyways, it's an
it up,
immersion
pull it up
school. Several $100 million went into it, but it successfully revived the language. And one of our signers there, I
know where I saw that. It was a documentary, and it was about these two graffiti artists, and they went to that school, and they were they did graffiti on the wall, cultural graffiti on the wall,
nice.
and they were like mixing modern culture with traditional culture.
Oh,
Right?
that's
So they got
nice.
to like
Super
experience what the kids are learning and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and then they got to share with the kids like, this is what you can do today. Like, I'm a successful graffiti artist, right? And you can still be cultural, with modern art, right? I don't know, but good.
Saina Tinakpongi, he was mentioning that the model they used was to revive the language, the Hawaiian language, and he was saying that Guam wouldn't have to use that much resources, money, or manpower because
Who is this? I was thinking.
Jimmy
Terria.
Jimmy Terria, he works at UOG. He's right now working, or he's gonna start his dissertation for his doctorate. But he works at UOG. I'm not totally sure, but he's one of the staff members.
Yeah,
Okay.
I saw him on the
Definitely on the Chamorro.
Yeah.
But he was saying that it's so crazy. Guam is in a way better position than Hawaii. Not in like that kind of way, like, we're better than you kind of way. It's that Hawaii Hawaii had to I love you, Hawaii. I have family out in Hawaii.
We moved from the shaka to the laddie. We don't do shakas no more. We do laddie stones.
Hawaii.
Why are you laughing?
I want to defend myself right now. Hawaii had to revive their native
I'm not joking
language.
though, dude.
Yeah, I see that a lot.
People
Yeah,
do laddie stones now,
Yeah.
right? And I was like, damn, genius. What a way to break away from that sort of like, oh, you guys are doing a Hawaiian thing? Like, all right, make up our own shit. Like, laddie stone. The first person I saw do that was Frank the Crank.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are you doing? He's like, dude, laddie stone. Mind blown, completely mind blown. Anyways, go ahead.
Jimmy saying that they have to revive their language. They're in a position, they have all these programs, and especially this now school to revive the language. Guam is not in that position. We don't need to revive our language. Our language is still prevalent. We can still hear it. It's not dead, like that one dude said, but like
Wait,
we still have our.
Who said? Was it on this show?
No, it was that he wrote an article about.
Oh, okay.
No, not on this show.
Okay. I'm pretty sure it would have been like, no, man. It's not dead. People speak it, Terrence.
No. And that we still have like about 10, 15 years before the majority or the bulk of speakers really, really die out. Before we actually get to that point, we're not in a position to revive our language.
But we have to take into account the Chamorros who do speak, who don't live here, right? to consider that it's not really
Yeah.
dying or dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And his point was that we don't have to use that much resources or money to do what they did, because we're not that devastated in the fact that our language is still alive, like barely breathing but alive.
I see.
They had to revive it from I don't know what it is, but they didn't have much speakers.
Yeah.
You know?
Did you guys find it? It's on the Big Island. It's an emergent school. Oh my goodness. Yeah, just put Big Island, Hawaii, emergent class.
Is it not like Kamehameha or something?
Is it Kamehameha?
I don't know. All I know is I think Kamehameha, you have to have like Hawaiian
blood
to be
in that school, right?
Yeah.
Oh wait, is that a school in Oahu, or is that
I think it's
like a high
I don't know
school?
if it's located like
Because I know that school we're talking about is like, I remember seeing little kids all the way up to adults. Nothing? You guys didn't find it? You keep Googling it. What? How do you see it? Okay, so what do you see the academy growing and evolving into something like that cultural school in Hawaii? How do you see it doing that? What needs to be added now, or what needs to be worked into the system that you guys are currently working with?
honestly I think it's just finding or just encouraging people to not be so mamala, to not be so ashamed to get out there and learn, because I think that's really what it is.
Right.
You know, like people, you know, it's just a matter of having that feeling inside that, yeah, I'm gonna, you know, in a few years I'm gonna speak Tomoru, and you know what I mean, because look at the guys, I mean, they freaked me out when I first met them, you know, because I mean
They were pretty bad.
I mean they
Go ahead.
weren't horrible. They weren't horrible.
Okay.
You know,
If we're being honest here.
but seeing them now
Yeah.
is freaking crazy.
Yeah.
Because they speak super good Samoru.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all learning here, you know?
Okay.
So, but seeing how far they've gotten in the past 2 years is crazy. So, honestly, I think it's just having...
How much you want it.
Yeah, how much you want it, yeah. And how much you're willing to put into it, you know?
Yeah.
Because, you know, people just... I don't know.
I guess away from the individual, but more on the structural sense of how a school, how you would teach a school. What would you guys want to incorporate into such a school? Say they give you guys $1 million, $2 million tomorrow, and they're like, all right, here you go, start it up. What would you incorporate at that moment?
I think I mentioned it last time on the podcast that they were in talks for, you know, starting a nursery and therefore moving toward a all tomorrow school. Like all subjects would be taught in tomorrow, and that's math, English, all those subjects. So it wouldn't be, you know, tomorrow for 20 minutes a day.
So it wouldn't be. So it wouldn't be just a cultural school. You'd be actually learning math and
be like an actual school.
A
I can imagine that being difficult though.
Yeah.
Extremely difficult, especially like on the science level, right?
Yeah.
Or social studies level.
Yeah.
I think what I do too, like personally, if I don't know a word in tomorrow, or if it's already socially accepted amongst them in Umko, where they would just use the English word and throw it in the sentence, that's what would happen. So in science and even math or any of those meticulous subjects,
like proton, how would you say proton? Protundu.
Protundu. Exactly. A lot of it is Chamorized.
Electrondu.
Yeah, a lot of it is they call it Chamorized, or even in Spanish, they just keep the root word and just smack on a vowel at the end, A or O, and you just go with it. That's right. Familia.
How about legislature, right?
Legislaturen. So it's like, yeah, a lot of the words you could still hear the English in it, or the Latin to English to back to Chamorro in it.
You said there's like a council, right? That's responsible for introducing new words into the language.
The language.
That's not Kaha, is it? Is that
Somoru Language Commission?
Or that one, yeah.
Yeah. So I noticed they've been getting together
Yeah.
more often.
Trying to figure out how to say selfie, right?
out.
And text message.
Yeah. I know what is official though is the spelling of Tsamoru.
Yep.
The U at the end.
The U is now officially the.
What?
What's up with the CH though?
Oh.
That was my next point.
Okay. Yeah.
Hurao says, and it's like,
Honestly.
why would you have to capitalize that H?
H,
It
yeah.
doesn't make so much sense. We understand and we've accepted as a
Because it's part of the alphabet, right? That's the whole backing
Yeah.
behind it. Is that
Because the CH
Yeah.
makes a letter in the alphabet, which is why it should be capitalized as
it's technically one letter.
yeah.
Technically.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Well,
if
they should go C and then just go
yeah,
cursive, right? Just have it,
Put
just
it
have
in
it kind of
cursive.
connect. Or you know
I
how they
think-
break, like, they take out some words in the sentence, just kind of like half a C and then an H, so it looked like a question mark, almost like a C H, then a line out like that,
Yeah.
capitalized.
I think for Sanagonifi's point is that because it's not the dominant letter, or it's not you wouldn't. That's not the dominant letter. You wouldn't have to capitalize it. You would just know and accept it that it's tse. That's the letter,
Right.
and you don't have to capitalize it because H also stands as its own letter, and you wouldn't have to capitalize it because after the C, you only capitalize the C because it's the beginning, and I don't know.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, it's just alphabet, right?
And it
Is it phonetics? It's called phonetics?
Yeah.
Am I trying to sound smart here?
orthography? No, I don't know.
I don't even know.
I don't even know either.
But
But
all
if you
these words
spell it
for-
out,
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you write capital C, capital H, A,
I noticed the Guam Daily Post.
M-O-R-O-U.
That's the only newspaper that does the
Yeah.
capital CH.
Yeah. And I think they made it official.
Isn't it official?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
But,
Wow,
if I'm doing homework and I'm writing the word tomorrow, I'm not going to capitalize that H. It's just like tedious. I'd have
It's
to
almost
write
like it's almost like text messaging in capital letters and small letters, right?
Yep.
It's like, wait, how do you do that?
Yeah.
I'd have to capitalize the C,
Yeah.
hold on the C,
Yeah.
let it go big. Hold on the H, let it go big, and spell the rest out. Dude, that's too much.
I'm too
Yeah.
modern for that.
And that's another crazy thing with the Manamku. They can't do it, or I'm not sure they do it. I don't know any Manamku that does, but we text in Chamorro.
Really?
Yeah, we're faster now, definitely, but
Yeah.
we have to hold down on the A, go to the A. We have to hold down the N, go to the Nye.
Yeah.
You guys should write to Google about making it tomorrow.
A Chamorro
Making it
keyboard.
more alphabet.
Yeah, Chamorro
Chamorro
keyboard.
alphabet keyboard. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm not joking.
And we gotta dash a bunch of stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And
Whole bunch of glotas.
yeah, glotas
Yeah.
everywhere, but that's just really apostrophes. So,
Yeah.
but
But the glota should be with the regular QWERTY keyboard. Would it be a QWERTY?
Yeah.
Would it still be a QWERTY keyboard?
yeah, we would just tap the what is it?
Symbol.
We would just tap the regular. What is it? I don't know what it is when you're like messaging somebody. The 1, 2, 3, right? And it'll
Okay.
switch,
Yeah, yeah,
get the
yeah.
apostrophe. So yeah, just
I'm
regular.
I'm pretty sure you don't have to message Apple or Google. I'm pretty sure you can make keyboards and just have
That was
have
the
yeah.
coolest
have
thing
someone
ever.
download an app, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But
you just download this app to include the keyboard into the system.
Yeah.
Totally doable, guys.
But
I'm just helping you guys out here. You know, like so when I decide to take my journey,
yeah,
it's much easier for me.
but what my anatomy is
Hopefully,
like,
by the time then they just like plug in a USB into the back of my head and like
just reconfigures.
Yeah. Restructure his brain. There you can speak tomorrow, like that. Fluent tomorrow.
But what I guess like my anatomy is when you pull up the suggestion bar, it'll start memorizing everything you're saying,
Yeah.
Yeah,
everything
okay,
you're
okay.
typing.
That
So-
thing is magical.
Yeah.
It's
So
awesome.
when I want to write a sentence that I usually write either every day, like drive safe, see you later, what time is this? It'll suggest on the 3 bars like,
Okay.
do you want this word, this word, this word, and it's all tomorrow. So it's like yes.
Yep.
So it's
Super
kind of remembered the language that you
Mhm.
guys are
Yeah.
Yeah.
typing in.
So the more you type like that one word, it'll just memorize it. So the next time you have to type it, you just tap on it.
Just tap.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
But honestly, there's still a lot of words that I'm trying to figure out because so many roles and sometimes some people want to, I don't know, it's just trying to figure it all out, but it's all a process.
Yeah,
So
for
it's
sure.
okay, yeah.
And don't ask the Manamko to spell stuff. They never had to write in
Right.
Chamorro.
Yeah.
And that's
Makes
I'm
a
not
lot
I'm
of
not saying
sense.
like a bad thing. That's like you're going to frustrate them if you ask them to spell stuff out in Chamorro. Like
Are you-
they're not gonna say I don't know because Manamkos, they're very
No.
proud people. They don't want to say I don't know. That's
They know
not in their
everything.
nature. Yeah, exactly. He's like Justin Ruby. Like
Just
you know,
put Vicks on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel better.
it's
Yep.
so funny too. Like I'll ask my dad stuff, and he'll like stare at the ceiling, and like he'll like give that like. Like I think the other day I asked my dad, I was like, cause he's fluent in Chamorro too. I go, Dad, Tamana Masan, congratulations. So he stared at the ceiling for like a whole 10 seconds, and he goes, "Whoa, I don't know." And I was like laughing. I was like, "Man, I don't think there is a word. It's just like you'd have to structure a sentence to mean that sentence."
I see.
Yeah, it's like or like there's no welcome. Hey, welcome.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
There's no word for that.
Nope.
So
Yeah.
with a manamko, you don't want to frustrate them with these kinds of things. And that's like one of the stuff we got those questions out of the way, so we know not to, either ask that or we know not to ask them for spelling. You don't want to go to school for spelling. Like one of the teachers, either at the universities or, even at Hurao, people call. It's so funny. People call for a spelling of stuff or like translations of stuff. So funny. You get like random phone calls.
Yeah. And honestly, even with us, like if a lesson plan's being made, oh man, sometimes we'll all like sit in a circle and just go at it. We'll be like, no, but maybe it's spelled this way because this is spelled that way. It's crazy. And
Dude,
so,
man,
yeah,
this
that'd
is
be
what
good.
I'm seeing right now. I'm really seeing you guys creating the framework of what's to come.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
It's been done, yes, but now you guys are really trying to break it down because not only are you still learning,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So it's you're breaking down these sort of lesson plans for yourself
Mm-hmm.
and creating the structure of what may be the best way to teach it when it comes 10, 20, 30 years from now. When you're trying to teach
Yeah.
maybe young adults or children how to speak Chamorro, right? More so young adults or adults, right?
Yeah, like I think one of the funniest words that I've heard being translated, because like aircon, right? It didn't really exist back then. So it's when like the Manamko they say, no ani aircon, right? Not air condition. So sometimes like with words like that, you have to take like if there's no word
Sentiments
for
or
air,
whole
yeah.
things.
So you have to find other words that are used in Chamorro and
Just wanna
somehow
say it.
combine it to make that one word.
What is it?
So like air conditioner is we try to break it down and really put it in Samoru. So we say makinan manenghing, which basically or literally means the machine that makes
Coldness.
coldness.
Oh.
Yeah.
But
So it's like, dude.
Between me and her and like our whole class, we know not to say that to like a manamko.
Yeah.
They
'Cause they're gonna be
wouldn't.
like,
What the heck
hell
are you
is
saying?
that?
Why are you talking about a machine that needs cold air? Okay, that makes
Yeah,
sense. Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that's
That's
so
like funniest
Yeah.
freaking thing I've ever heard. And there's other ones, but man, that one just freaks me out.
And you
sometimes.
see that. You see the way you have to really break down words. You guys
Mhm.
are I feel like you guys are the link between
Yeah.
the old language and the new language because
Yeah.
as language is evolving,
Mhm.
you guys are trying to
Mhm.
now create these new words to sort of
Yeah.
make up for the lack of
Mhm.
the evolution for maybe 30 years, 40 years,
Yeah.
50 years,
Yeah.
right?
And I want to share the dude, and it was crazy. My classmate Vince Laguatnia.
Okay, yeah.
I think one dude. I don't know what inspired me, but I guess it was the beer flowing at the tournament. We were barbecuing in the back. Damn, we just had our
It's
host
usually
here.
the case.
Yeah, we just had the host here. Shout out to 07. I don't know. I just I built up the courage and I just started talking to him tomorrow, and I asked him. I go, why do the Manamku, why would they just not prefer? Like, if I've given them enough evidence that I speak decent amount of tomorrow, why do they not immediately reply back to me in tomorrow? Why are they still hesitant? And he was sharing with me because, dude, you have to remember these guys they got in trouble for speaking tomorrow. So if you take that wartime and that many years of being in trouble for speaking tomorrow, you're not gonna want to speak tomorrow. And that like blew my mind because he gave me that link that like, whoa, I didn't know that. So every Manamku that I'm encountering, they went through that. They went through that whole, if I speak tomorrow, I'm gonna get in trouble. That could be one of the reasons. That could be one of the symptoms why they're either so comfortable with English or they don't want to associate my young face with tomorrow because they were young when they were speaking tomorrow and getting in trouble for speaking tomorrow.
Right.
So
and someone your age would be.
And he was telling me that he experienced that. And I was freaking out.
That's crazy.
Dude, and it was
that's
bad.
That's a crazy thought right there.
Yeah, dude. And what was badass too was like there was a lot of 17 boys and everyone down there. They were just like watching us talk in tomorrow. And I was like, wow, dude, whoa. But yeah, he shared that with me, and that was the first time I ever realized, yeah, I'm speaking decent tomorrow, but they're not gonna be so open to you because one, you're not their wife or husband, and two, you're just a completely different / young face. You're gonna associate, you're gonna make them have like flashbacks and that could be one of the reasons.
Right.
Yeah. So he shared that with me. And I was
wow, that's very interesting. Whether it's like true or not, right? It's an interesting thought to even consider that shit.
Yeah.
Just that mere reminder, right?
Yeah, and they're not used to it too. So when they see someone, as young as 30, 18, 10, 3, they're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
They're freaking speaking tomorrow. And then, later on when they hear that you're speaking a lot more, that's when they decide to converse with you. Yeah. So.
That was mind blowing. I liked it. Yeah, man. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to watch you on your journey, like from a year ago, right?
Yeah.
And thinking about what you thought about it and now what you think now, considering that now you're a teacher.
Yeah.
After 2 years of really wanting to learn.
And I've accepted, like, yeah, I'm a teacher, but I'm still learning. I'm a learning teacher. I'm a teacher learner or
a leecher.
Teener.
A leecher.
Yeah, and it was just Sina's like prompting and saying, "Yeah, I know you can do it." And sure enough, it was easy. It was fun, to be in a room surrounded full of the same people that want to do this, the same people that want what I'm doing, what Mamis and Maina and John Pete, what we've been doing. And it's so nice to share my struggles, but it's teaching. Like, I'm sharing what worked for me, and you're having this problem, this is how I did it. And not to say that, Sina Gunifi didn't have that, but yeah, she didn't have that. Or like she didn't have that, she's speaking since she was young, so she wouldn't know. She didn't, that's what she saw in us. She said, okay, you guys, you get this advantage. You get to share your struggles and you get to move along faster because
she didn't necessarily have struggles because it was bred in her.
Yeah.
Yep. That was really, really. If she didn't like say those kinds of things, I would have been like, no, maybe one more year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's super awesome too, because we have our after school program.
Yeah.
So it's called the Tempo de Minago, and you see all these little kids. I think the oldest is maybe 16, 15, and the youngest is maybe 4 or 5. And you can totally see where they're headed. This is just the start of their journey, with Hurao, with them learning the language. I mean, there's 2 kids who speak Chamorro fluently, and they're like, how old are they? They're like 4 and
Guinai's 6, and then Minalak is 3 or 4.
3. Yeah.
They're the videos of on the Hurao Instagram of they're speaking Chamorro.
Right.
Yep.
The recent one I posted, that was like, oh man, that's mind blowing. She wasn't getting in trouble, but her dad was telling her like, hey, I've caught you speaking English a couple times, and that's not allowed at home, or not allowed, but like you speak Chamorro at home. And she was defending herself. She was like saying, no, I wasn't speaking English. I was speaking Chamorro. I mean, not like I was speaking English. And these innocent girls, why I posted their videos, because, not that they're in trouble, but because they're defending themselves for the language they're supposed to be speaking.
In the first place.
Yeah. And their dad, they never were in trouble. Their dad was just recording a video just to see what they would say, and that was so incredible for her she was saying that sometimes most of the time I speak Chamorro, but I wasn't speaking English. That was not like I was speaking English. And then she started crying because she was getting blamed. So their communication between the two was like, you're blaming me. I know I speak Chamorro. And then she started crying, and I was like, wow, that was and that was Saina Gonifi, challenged them like 3 years ago when Manalek was born. She's like, I challenge you to make her first language Chamorro, and they did. So she hasn't gone to grade school yet, and she knows some English from, I guess, kids that she would interact with, or the videos she would watch on YouTube, but her parents really try to limit.
What do you think the biggest challenge is for a young Chamorro speaker? Like growing up in this age, right? We're still up to now. Yeah. People speak English.
Mm-hmm.
It's the dominant language here, right? Maybe the culture is not necessarily dying, but it's mixing with other cultures around the world, because, like you said, YouTube videos, nothing's filtered. You're kind of taking world culture as you're feeding yourself it, right?
Yeah. You were 6. How did you maintain it at home, ma'ams?
Honestly, it was just a matter of never stopping.
Yeah.
Just to constantly use the language, use as many words as
But you must have saw some sort of importance in it at a young age, yeah?
Oh yeah, definitely. And I also thought it was super cool. I was like, oh my gosh, all these kids are learning the same language that I am.
Yeah.
It's so badass. And then, I'm growing up with these people.
Yeah.
And then we all learn to appreciate it, and yeah, I think it's just continuing at home, and really not only because it's a new language, so it's not just anything, it's not just like math and English, or not like math and science, so like it's not only the kids, but the parents too, that really, like, as a family, it's really good to learn as a family, because that's really the only way you keep up the language, so I think that's what really got me.
That's how you were able to sort of maintain after all these years.
Yeah.
But still feel a part of society, right? Or like culture. Not that you're an outcast. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you were an outcast in any way, right?
Yeah.
But there has to been some sort of
like
divide, right? That you felt within yourself, because I don't know, where am I going with this? Yeah, you said challenge.
Like, we mentioned that last time too. We said like, whoa, John said like, oh, you're kind of weird if you speak Chamorro nowadays. Like, you're like, well, you are an outcast because that language is quote unquote dead. But since last year and the year before, we see this revival, especially after FestPac, and that now when you speak Chamorro, people would not be so like turned off. They would in fact be like interested and commend you, fascinated. How many times we were at a restaurant, like people, the waiters, like, we were just at Mosa's for John's birthday like a week and a half ago, and the waiter, we were deciding what we wanted in Chamorro, and we were talking amongst ourselves, what are you getting, and the waiter goes, you dropped his pad, he goes, hold on, you guys speaking Chamorro? That is just so freaking awesome. And, you know, we
So
forgot.
so you can't consider yourself an outcast because it's.
But, like,
and
the point I'm saying is, like, you're right. People thought that way. Like, you know, like, there's a select few of speakers. But now it's moving towards that. You know, let's have a different attitude towards people that want to speak Chamorro, people that do speak Chamorro, even especially if they're a young age. And that outcast, that idea of an outcast, you know, it's going away, or it has gone away.
Or like, I guess when you say outcast, being ashamed.
Yeah, that's why I said that's why I was asking if you remember Matt Sablon. Both of our high school careers, he was there, and he knew how to speak fluent Chamorro, but he never. Between you and me, I don't remember him. You don't remember him speaking.
I'm pretty sure if I see his face, I'm
yeah.
like, how many Matt Sablons do I freaking know?
But yeah,
Matt Sablon's like a John Cruise, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Sina even shared this one story, like at Bishop a couple times he got in trouble for chewing pugwa in class. Can you imagine a middle schooler chewing pugwa in class? Like, dude, okay, yeah, that's a drug, but that's also like, you know, you can compare that to like a fruit or an apple or like a banana.
Comes
You're
from the
eating.
ground.
It's culture.
Yeah, it's culture. It's so long story long, he went to the office and he didn't get in trouble. He just gave up his pugwa, and I don't know, I think sister or
Got
the
more.
principal.
Yeah, that's secret
They just like
stash.
took his pugwa and they ate it themselves. But yeah, I mean, I'm not speaking on his behalf, but the fact that he knew to speak Chamorro, and I didn't know that, you didn't know that,
Right.
I don't remember. Yeah, so, but hopefully now, if we can continue moving toward that this enlightenment. So
Yeah, and I think like having a challenge, I mean, I didn't really see it being challenging that much because I always had at least one person throughout my whole life by my side learning Tsamoru with me. So
Right.
yeah, so I mean, I don't know.
And you were still able to hang with us regular folk. Those regular English speaking folk.
and
I'm just making a joke. I'm making a
No.
joke.
maybe to put that whole outcast situation into perspective, for me, what happened was, so John invited me to his house. I don't know if I don't think I shared this story last time. John invited me to his house for just a barbecue, just a regular kickback, you know. So I get there, and him and Pete were speaking Chamorro, and I was like, "Hey, no offense, but why are you guys speaking Chamorro?" And that was my, like, I was inquiring, you know. I wasn't be like, "Oh, what the heck, those guys are charged." I wasn't like that. My inquiry then just turned into like an insane passion, like, holy cow, I want to do that. I'm interested in doing that.
Yeah.
And so they were already like a month into their class, and, you know, John gave me Sanagunifi's number. I called like the next 3 days after that, and I was like, I want to do that. I want to speak Chamorro. And they were off island, and eventually she got all my voicemails and my missed calls, and
15 missed calls.
yeah. And you know, she ended up
message me on Instagram.
yeah. She ended up talking with John, like, who's this dude that keeps calling me? But so I joined that class even though it was late, and then you know, the whole thing of, you know, I was like a little, not put off, but I was like freaked out that they were speaking Chamorro, and it was just like a regular backyard barbecue at his house. And you know, that, you know, to go from that, you know, to that party of like, oh, why are you guys speaking Chamorro, to like now where I am now, to follow that whole line of passion, and I'm wanting to, you know, pursuing this journey of speaking Chamorro is it's incredibly rewarding, so rewarding.
Yeah.
Crazy journey I've been on. The problems I have now, I'm having like, so with Zaina Greg, we're carving, right, and the machines are hella loud, you know, all the Dremels and the drill press, like these machines are loud. And then 2, we're wearing masks, you know, we don't want to inhale all the clams and, you know, all those things.
Right.
And then 3, his rapid speech is on like another level. And that's like the older you are, the crazier your rapid speech is.
Yeah, the less words you're saying.
Yeah, so between super loud noise, a muffled mask, and rapid speech, I'm like, oh, dude, this is hard, but it's awesome. I'm having a hard time, but this is awesome. And so sometimes I'll tell him, like, oh, no, you're not repeating instructions for me. I just can't hear you. So, but he enjoys like teaching because I guess we're speaking tomorrow, and I see that so much. Like he's so keen on what he's doing, and the fact that he can explain it in tomorrow is, I feel like I see that he's enjoying teaching again. Like a lot of, I mean, not to say anything about his other apprentices, but they're English speaking, I guess. So
yeah. Like you said, the connection,
Yeah.
right?
It's not
There's a
feeling
difference
it.
between the communication and the connection.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, God, way to tie that shit back in there. Yeah. How long have we been going here, boys? Whew. Goodness. Dude, I think it's cool. I think that what you guys are doing, the journey that you set on, everyone has their journeys, everyone chooses. And the thing about it is that you're able to learn so much these days that you kind of can easily spread yourself thin in wanting to learn everything. Oh, I want to learn this. I want to learn this.
Yeah.
I want to learn this. I want to learn this.
Yeah.
But to actually choose language as something that you really, really want to pursue.
Yeah.
I mean, podcasting. This is something I really, really want to pursue, right?
Yeah.
And it's you guys took language. Well, you grew up with it, but Terrence, you took it on the same level, the same bar. That I want to see how far I can go with this. And for you, it probably means so much more than for me. I'm just talking to people, right?
Yeah.
But for you, there's more of a connection now. You're connecting with the older generation in ways that they never thought when they were younger. Like, oh, people aren't going to speak. People your age aren't going to be speaking tomorrow, let alone your age, let alone a 4-year-old, right?
Yeah, for real. Honestly, though, it's never too late. I mean, a lot of people, like what you said, you're like, oh, it's not the right time
Yeah.
now. But honestly,
it is
really
never too late.
never too
In our
late.
class, her name is Bino. I forget her actual name. Bino, Pika's mom.
Okay.
She's in our class because her husband Frank is fluent in Chamorro, and she hears her granddaughter speaking to him in Chamorro, and she always shares that, like, I want to do that. I want to speak Chamorro. So she's not Chamorro at all, but she's elderly. She's manamku.
Okay.
And she wants to.
Careful.
Yeah, I was like,
for real.
elderly.
Might be watching.
Elderly is
Careful.
more nice than old.
Just say older than me.
She's older.
And
so, yeah,
she's older
she's-
than us.
And so she's in our class, and that's a perfect point. It's never too late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's never too late.
I mean, like, some simple things, like, even if it's to look through the dictionary and, like, listen to a song. I mean, that's, like, what we do, if we want to know what a song means.
Yeah, I
we
remember
wanna-
Lenny was having those things at his house where
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
invites everyone over and they
Yeah,
translate
yeah,
songs
yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you guys still do that?
Man,
It's been a while.
We haven't done that in a while, actually. I
Yeah.
think
I think it's the best way to learn a language.
yeah.
Yeah.
Listen to the songs.
That's John's super main point. Like,
So do you-
he definitely, that was his favorite way. He mentions that a lot. Like, that's his favorite way. He has like 2 hard drives full of just Chamorro songs,
Right.
and he listens, writes and records, and that's his way of learning too. So
Yeah.
super fun, too. I mean,
yeah,
listen to a song, find the words that you know.
yeah,
And then
Mm.
decipher it from there.
yeah.
And then little do you know, you found the meaning of the song, and voila.
Yeah.
So there's so many ways to learn Samoru. It doesn't really require sitting in a class listening to
Yeah.
someone talk to you about this and that. It's so many ways. It's just a matter of, like
How much you want it.
how much you want it.
Yeah, I remember my cousin was learning Japanese, and I walk into his apartment, and there's Post-it cards all over his house.
Oh shit! Holy cow, we do that
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, we
I
do
was
that
like,
too.
Put up.
I was like, What's up with the,
flashcards.
yeah,
everywhere.
what's up with the index cards, bro?
Your
With,
room is so colorful.
with the
But yeah, you post
don't
it.
take a picture in here.
Put those posters first.
Yeah.
You put those posters where you want to learn and memorize what those things are.
Yeah.
Table, TV, things like that. Wall. That's like one of the second or third lessons. You know. Yeah, you put a post-it wherever you want to learn something, and then when you memorize that room, you know, it shouldn't be hard for you from there. And then you do it in your bathroom, your kitchen, and your living room.
Could be words, phrases.
Yeah.
Just have an index card, a stack of index cards on the toilet,
Yeah.
right? And you
Yep.
sit there and just kind of.
Yep.
Flip
Sit there
through it.
taking a shit. You just look through it.
Yeah.
And it's all about repeating it and freaking got it down.
Yeah, I mean, how do you make it as common as the first thing people look at on their phone is Facebook, right?
Mhm.
You know, I bring the phone to
Oh,
the
man.
thing. You just like
To Facebook, yeah.
see, scrolling through it, but it's in Chamorro, right?
I mean,
How do you incorporate that stuff, right? And there's a lot of room to expand. I
Mhm.
think.
Man, and you
Yeah.
you keep doing that. and
I will
it's
keep
so-
on until you
It's so
do it.
great. And one person who's definitely taken advantage too is Father Eric. You know, he's not Manamko. He's not, but he is on Facebook, and he's frequent in his Chamorro lessons / like his, you know, whatever he does, he'll you see some of his posts are in Chamorro. And
Right,
so
right.
I definitely enjoy those because sometimes I'll respond. I'll respond either if I don't know a word or if I think it's funny or if I want to add, you know, comment on it. So
Yeah.
he's
Podcast, man.
yeah, he's a good
I'm
testament.
gonna keep
Tomorrow
saying it.
podcast.
I mean, I think Poly Eric should do his own podcast. Honestly, it's literally like, it's not the only answer,
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
it's definitely, it'll help.
Yeah.
It'll help people be like, oh shoot, Chamorro podcast, all
You can open
Chamorro.
it on your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can listen to it on the shitter
And it's
and
I
in the
think
car and while I clean.
what I also noticed too, it's not so the radio. On radio, you don't record that content. So whatever it is you're talking about on the radio, that's gone.
Yeah.
You don't have that. But with podcasts, you can.
Well,
come
you
up with
can
a
do it on
topic.
the radio, but I don't think anybody
Dude,
records.
that's a
their
lot of record. That's a lot of right.
Right.
I don't really.
All you need is like 128 gigs. I don't know.
Yeah. Like 10 hard drives, flasks.
Just get a 2 terabyte and just delete it
Yeah.
every time, right? Put it
But
in
I
the cloud and
think-
delete it.
I think too the mentality of recording the content and what you say that makes it gives you a better idea of what to say and how to say it, and yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the
Father
way,
Eric
and the way you can do the
dude.
podcast is like you have like a lesson where it's like a structural, polite
Yeah.
Google Translate style,
Yeah.
correct grammatically correct statements. And then in the next podcast, you have that same topic, but you're talking to it conversationally, whether it be with someone who's been speaking since they were 7 or someone who is 65 years old and has been speaking all their life.
I was thinking, would that even be something people would be interested in?
Hell
They'll be,
yeah.
but-
Comment
but-
right now on Facebook right now. Tell these
An
guys,
ultra
seriously.
more podcast. Like, how many people would? I bet definitely a lot
How
would.
many people want to connect? Nate,
Yeah.
Nate, I see you over there. How many people would want to connect? Many, right? Yeah. Many, dude. Many. And the
Yeah.
reason why nobody's connecting with it, because it doesn't exist,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm getting hyped up. I get hyped up about
No,
podcasts.
that's
dude,
definitely
because,
true.
Just because, like,
With other than these guys, I shared that idea of having doing an ultra more podcast. I shared it with like Vincent and Cody Lazama, and they were into it too. And the reason I would share it with them is because that's other than those two and Hurao, and there's several other people out there our age speaking somewhere, and they're doing their part. Like, we would definitely get all those guys on board, and it would kind of, what I'm wondering too is like, would people out there who don't speak Chamorro at all, or they barely know anything, would they even listen to it? Or if it's all Chamorro,
yeah.
they would.
I
And if
think,
we just incorporate a little bit of English.
yeah, you have basic. You can have the title of the thing and then put basic,
Mm-hmm.
intermediate,
Yeah.
advanced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
killing words and sentences. You know, It's like- dude, seriously,
I think
everything's possible. I mean, you want a direct way where people can listen to Chamorro and download it anytime they want and listen to that same episode over again. Talk about, dude, man.
I listened to all Father Eric's podcast episodes, like I think twice over, all of them, all 4 of them. But I think the Fanatsu with
I
think those guys
Manny
did
Cruz.
some. Yeah, they did.
I'm pretty sure they do because Dr. Mike Bavak was he's part of that with
Yeah.
Manny,
So
but
I haven't really. Are they? I'm
But
not sure what it is, but
that's the decolonization podcast.
Yeah.
The,
Okay, so-
the independence podcast. Excuse me, sorry. The independence Independence Guahan podcast.
I don't
Right.
know why I remember
But-
hearing like an episode of
but you can-
Beginning in Chamorro.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty
right?
sure
they did a lot.
But
I just want to put that out there just in case they're saying like, hey, I did that idea already.
okay.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say. I did say non-existent earlier,
Yeah.
but all Chamorro, everything, all
Mhm.
day,
Yeah.
every episode.
And then the difference would be we're all under like 30. We're
Yeah.
not like
Right.
that sounds
Right.
crazy awesome.
You can go over Totu and Totu for
Yeah, have like 2
for 15 minutes, bro.
Like,
and that's
we
a
call each
podcast
other out.
episode, bro.
Yeah,
You guys never have to talk about it again. In class, you'd be like, download episode 15, and that's what we go over it. You know, me and Mamis.
Yeah. And like the people that could weigh in too, like Father Eric and Sanaguni,
Right.
what their thoughts on it too.
Oh man, there's so much
Good idea.
possibilities, dude, that you guys can really incorporate into growing the academy, which I think can really get big, man. You know, and you guys, I feel like are that bridge for Anne Marie, right? To sort of connect that old with the new, the older culture with the new culture.
Damn. Yeah, you keep giving me these ideas. And I'm looking at this room like, dude, this guy's doing it. It's not so crazy. That TV wasn't there. These 3 cameras weren't here. This guy's doing it. Those computers.
Yeah,
This guy's
bro.
doing it.
These 2 guys were
These
here.
2 guys were here.
B was or Maddie B weren't even here. They were born, but they weren't here. You know? But it's all about just wanting to do it. Like you said, pull the trigger. That was my shit when I started the podcast. Like, dude, pull the trigger already. And we said it all right tonight. There's no right time to do it. There's never gonna be a perfect time. But yeah, we can go on and on.
Yep.
I want to thank you guys for coming on the podcast and speaking to me probably the longest that you've ever spoken English in the last year. Since
Oh, wow. We still have our day job, so we gotta speak English there.
but a consistent conversation for the last hour and a half to 2 hours
Yeah.
in speaking English with me. And man, I'm very appreciative that I can connect with you guys on some sort of level, even though I don't speak Chamorro. I don't know a spit of Chamorro. I would love to start that journey.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's something that I'm not ready for. I don't know. I don't want to start saying that, right?
No.
But it's like Lenny said in his episode. He's like, do you have time? Do you want to put time into it?
dude.
Then there's no reason why you want to do it. You have to really want it, right? And and it's something I have to sit down and kind of like ask myself, is this something I really want, right? And is this something I want to incorporate into my life besides the other 15 stuff that I've decided to include into my life, right? It's crazy. But I want to thank you guys. Promote the academy. Put anything out there that people can who they can contact, where you guys are located, how they can visit your websites, whatever it may be, however you want to put it. The floor is yours. Go for it.
So we have our Tsogwiha class starting up next week, January 22nd. There will be a beginners and intermediate class. So beginners will be taught by myself and Maina from 6:30 to 7:30 every Monday and Wednesday. And then the intermediate will be 5:30 to 6:30, so right before.
Say that one more time.
So we have our beginners class
Yeah.
starting on the 22nd,
Okay.
which is
Monday, Wednesday.
Monday,
Monday,
Wednesday. Okay,
Wednesday.
I was just getting the time.
Yeah,
down.
Monday,
Wednesday,
Wednesday,
6:30 to
6:30 to
7:30.
7:30, and then our intermediate Monday, Wednesday as well, from 5:30 to 6:30.
Okay.
And that kind of seems weird, I guess, just because the intermediate's before the beginners. But this past year, the 4 or 5 months, that was their time slot, and I guess we just all agreed that we'll just continue with that time slot. So
sort
there's
of
no
works out.
yeah, so there's no immediate like crazy change. And then that beginners class is would just be
Yeah,
after.
It could almost be like a refresher for the intermediate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they've already agreed to like stay back and help if they have the
Nice.
time. Yeah, and
Yeah.
they're into that too, which is just more lessons on lessons.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then we also have our after school program, Tempo en Minago, which includes parent classes. So if your child is enrolled in the after school program, you yourself can attend the parent classes, just so you can help your child at home and keep up a good
Yeah.
conversation. Yeah.
That's the parent class. That's Tuesday,
I
Thursday,
believe
or is it
the
just Thursday?
parent, I think I saw them today. I think the afternoon class.
Yeah. Anyways, if
One-
you're a parent and your kids don't like sports, please send them to Hurao. And if learning tomorrow,
For real.
Because we don't have tomorrow
Yeah.
sports.
So, yeah.
because those are not that we don't have tomorrow sports, but like yeah, dude,
ran out of coconuts.
I would teach them how to husk, and, you know,
yeah.
clean fish.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
we teach them how to speak, but that's from 3:30.
Yes, the after school program is from 3:30 to 6.
3:30
Yes.
to 6. 2.5 hours every day. Supplemental learning, you know.
Lots of
Definitely.
activities.
What's the age range?
Ooh.
Our youngest
well,
is
as youngest,
still
you know,
3, 4.
Yeah, just make sure they're
Yeah.
potty trained,
Yeah.
please.
Potty trained.
You don't
till,
change diapers, right?
Yeah, no changing diapers, please.
Potty trained until I don't know. There's actually no cutoff, because if you're 15, 16, you don't know how to speak tomorrow, you're gonna learn from a 6-year-old.
Yeah.
You're gonna get those little gems.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
there's no one 15, 16.
Yeah, I think the oldest, she's like a sophomore or freshman. But I think.
Or so 15
yeah, so
is our
15,
oldest.
16, yeah, that's the
Yeah.
oldest.
Okay.
And it's not like there's no individual, like they're all learning together, because language is that vast.
Right.
You're not this is not like a level gauged thing like math, reading. Language it's communication. You're learning to
Mhm.
recommunicate in another language, so that after school program, that's what it's perfect for.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean,
And then I guess now look out for podcasts and online learning and you know.
and call us
Yeah.
too at 472-5858, which also spells out Kulu. So put that out there.
472
And then
5858.
the website, I believe, is chiefhuraoacademy.com. And you can find the registration forms and lots of information there.
Nice.
And I think that's about it. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter.
You guys
I
take
think we also have
PayPal?
our Twitter.
I don't know.
Honestly, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're
Sorry.
the teacher
Sorry.
side.
Yeah, no.
We're
Hard
on the
question.
teaching
Sorry.
side.
I don't even know.
Hardest question of the night.
But
Sorry.
if you call that number or email that website, you'll
Yes.
definitely get everything answered.
Oh,
Yeah.
and we also have a summer camp.
Oh yeah, we have
Yeah.
a summer camp.
And yeah, our summer camp is awesome. We have field trips and
Yeah.
lots of kids, and it's a whole lot of fun.
Yeah.
So I think that's it. I think that's pretty much all the information.
Cool. You want people? How do they follow Hurao Academy?
Mm.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Chief Hurao Academy,
Chief Hurao Academy.
as spelled, no spaces.
Yep.
The Instagram. We definitely did a push this past 3-4 months. We were like at 200-300 followers. Now we're like almost at 900. We're at 845 right now. So yeah, we've been doing like giveaways online.
Give them 1,000 people.
Yeah, come on, guys,
Come
follow
on.
us.
Come on.
Right now, we have a contest going. It's legit. It's so awesome. Repost one of our mini lessons, and then in your caption, write why you deserve or why you want to speak tomorrow, and you get a free slot in class. You get the whole semester or 4 months.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then use the hashtag Escuela tomorrow. So screenshot one of our mini lessons. I don't know if you've seen that. It's the orange
did, I
and white
saw it.
translations. And they just give you a little explanation to why that rule is or whatever that sentence is. And so screenshot one of those lessons, repost it on your page, tag 4 people, and then tell us why you want to learn Chamorro. And Sina Gwinifi is going to choose the best, like, I guess, the most, if it's like heartfelt or the best answer,
reason.
the best reason, yeah. And you get a free semester
Hell yeah.
at Hurao. So
The adult classes are super awesome because, you know, if you can't make it to one, you could always go to the other one.
yeah, you can go to any class.
Yep. So
Cool. Hell yeah, guys. You want people to follow you on your personal handles? I definitely want people to follow Terrence.
yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. Let's
But
go
Mammoth,
into
if you want people to follow you, feel free to put it out.
I mean, yeah, it's okay.
No? Yeah? Okay. Terrence, one more time, baby. Give it to us. Give it to us.
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram, RenceDB, all lowercase, RENCEDB. I try to snap my grandma as much as possible, but
Dude, it's the cutest thing, honestly. I mean, if you want to see a big guy do a cute thing, Terrence. Follow Terrence and watch his Instagram stories.
Yeah.
I love it. I love watching it. Honestly.
He posts like if a kid speaking, especially the girls, if they're speaking Somoru at the school. Oh man. Yeah, that's how I know what's going on. He's posting it on.
I love it, man.
Instagram.
Keep it up. Keep it up, dude.
Man.
And yeah, let's talk more about. I mean, I'm not gonna be the
No.
game changer, but
No,
just
you-
throw some ideas into your heads, man. You
For
know, it's
myself
like,
personally, you have been so.
That podcast though is a great idea.
yeah, I think you
Do
should
so
definitely
much
do
with
it.
that,
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Classy.
Yeah, if you're watching on Facebook live, thank you for joining us. We're gonna
you.
keep trying to do this every week with this Facebook Live, man. It looks like we're on a good trodden road.
And thank you.
But thank you guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
Any
so
last
much.
words?
Bibet Samoru.
Anything
Viva.
tomorrow? Yeah.
Sus masi Dangin man malago ham zo put for bot arguing ham. Para sinyon togwi masi hafa ki gumatmu sinyon togwi, whoever you have at your house, whoever can speak tomorrow. You don't need to go attend Hurao, but if you want, we can equip you with everything. But if this is a journey that you want to pursue on your own, definitely go for it. Use your resources in your surroundings.
Mga mamala para one faisin or CF puri mo.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Oh, I
Sus
got you.
masi.
Thank you everyone for joining us
Thank you.
on another episode of Master Random. Wow. Thank you guys.
Thank
Peace out.
Thank you.
Peace.